I'll tell you what, you guys must know it. You know, people say, oh, bad things happen in threes and a whole bunch of other foolish sayings. But life, like this industry, sometimes it doesn't let you up, right? Or it takes a long time. And I'm sure we've all been there. At some point in your life, it just felt like the world was against you. And we all know it's not true. Yeah, my wife, she asks me all the time why I do so many videos. I think it's almost therapeutic for me too, right? There's a lot that goes into doing what we do, and be able to have a release where I can talk to people, whether it's just a phone or whether it's you, it means a lot. And the emails I get back sometimes are pretty inspiring. Other people that have faced adversity, and you know, I was going to talk about some of those emails, but I'm not going to. They're private and they're personal, and regardless if you sent them to me in a way they could be used, I just don't feel it was appropriate. But I'll tell you what, they were well received. I can tell you that. You know, you want to talk about perspective, man. You know, you think you got it bad until you listen to someone else's bad story. And as I said, things are in perspective. Last night, 11:30 at night, had probably one of the worst 48 hours I can remember in recent memory. Maybe all my memory, I don't know. 11:30 at night, I get a call from Dominic. Races are over. He already texted me to say that Chicago Hall's scooped out. See, that guy's going to get himself killed. God almighty. You know, he'd already texted me to say that Chicago Hall scoped okay, and, you know, they're going to pull his blood. I'd already spoke to Dominic about the evening. So why is he calling me at 11:30? Said he was driving home from Flamborough. Now, if you're anywhere near Flamborough, Temeko, we used to be stabled at Temeko. The main road is Highway 6 going up to Guelph. And then you have Campbellville Road right here. Dominic was going home, and the guy pulled right out in front of him with a car, and Dominic just crushed him. Destroyed his truck. He thought the gentleman was hurt bad. It turns out he wasn't. Dominic was fine, but that could have went either way had he not been driving a big 3/4 ton truck. Destroyed his truck. Possibly destroyed his trailer. The horse inside of it, his own horse, was okay. But again, perspective. Now, the Wednesday morning takeaway from that is his truck was getting old, kind of a piece of crap. He'll get a new truck. He's healthy, doesn't have any scrapes or bruises or cuts. His horse is okay. The gentleman in the other car is okay. And that could have went so different so quickly. So as I said to him, although you were in an accident, you're healthy, you're fine, you'll get a truck out of it, I guess. I'm glad you're okay. And as I read those emails that came in yesterday, after I talked about perspective, and I talked to Dominic last night, you could hear his voice. Things start to slowly get back to normal, right? The bad day we had, bad 2 days we had, we're now over. Now we got to focus on Wednesday. The horses that race bad don't generally race bad. Pickpocket was sound, got to the gate, there was no issue with the vet. He clearly was sick. Now at the time I was angry because he was scratch sick, then he had to go to the Meadows. He missed 2 weeks, he qualified, he came back to Kentucky. Had he stayed in Kentucky, would he get sick? Probably not. That's neither here nor there. Time being scratched, yeah, it sucks. But you know what? You'd asked me in January if anybody would have cared if time was on my side, was entered in the Little Brown Jug. The answer would be no. He was a condition horse that we were about to seemingly looked like we were going to take a bath on, and instead turned into a real contender in the sophomore division in North America. Maybe top 10 or 15. 5-1 from the rail in the jug. In a good spot. The good takeaway is he doesn't have to race twice on Lasix in the searing heat in Delaware. He has the Breeders' Crown left. He has the Reynolds left. He has the Race of the Meadows left. The little one there, I don't know what the hell it's called. Didn't come to me. Pickpocket. Nice horse. Already won in 53. 3 starts back. Had his entire season interrupted. Come back sick. Race sick. They went in 50-1. They didn't go in 54. He might have been second or third. So we're going to try and take the lemons from yesterday and turn them into lemonade. See where we can race him next. Freedom Hill clearly wasn't herself, but she has been, and she was after her bad race at Scioto. She bounced back and jogged at Northfield. Then went down to Delaware yesterday with the 8-hole. Maybe the track was too deep from her because she usually has that pop at somewhere in the mile. We scoped her after she trained the other day. She scoped clean. Looked to me like she couldn't get through the surface. And it's a deep surface in Delaware. Not every horse gets through it good. Just looked to me like she was lethargic. Turn the page, move on, make sure she's okay. Westland Warrior, I called Scotty yesterday. I wouldn't have picked up, as I said. Talked to me, he said that colt was actually good. He said he was going up to the gate, quiet, behaved, felt great. He just darted sideways and threw his head a little bit and run. Was it the stickier track after the rain? I have no idea. Everybody had to race on it, so there's no point trying to figure out why he ran. He ran. Qualify him, turn the page, and focus on Corbin. Same as Gaslight Hall. Just a side note, he had Chicago Hall, who that was probably one of the worst second place finishes you can have. Crossed over the lead, followed the favorite, second favorite, maybe third favorite at 2-5. We were 2-5. James drove the horse, saved every ounce, every inch of ground you could. Moved him over, and he actually lost ground. It was a terrible second place finish. Scoped okay, we'll see what his blood looks like. But maybe he's just getting a little tired at the end of his season. I don't know. But that brings me to Gaslight Hall. Every intention of bringing him back to Ontario. Dave had brought up a good point. Said, what about racing him in the gold? Thought it was a great idea. I said, well, I'll defer it till I talk to James because he knows. He knows the horse. He said, I don't think he can do in the gold. I think it'd be a wasted start. He said, maybe next year. He's got speed. But I can think of 4 horses he can't beat in the gold. Okay. Grassroots consolation goes for 25 Canadian. Now I watched Chicago Hall race last night. Would it be more beneficial to leave Gaslight Hall in Kentucky and race in the non-winners of 1, also eligible non-winners of 2 Kentucky breds next week? That will go for 6, 7, 8,000 US, which is what, 10, 11 Canadian? Roughly half of the purse money in Canada. Keep them there, keep them fresh, and get them ready for Corbin, or ship them back 8 hours only to ship them back another 8 hours, and then ship them an hour and a half every time to Corbin. Can't be tin cup all the time. You got to lay up sometimes, and I think that the smart play would be to race Gaslight Hall in the race in Kentucky, forego the consolation in Ontario, leave him here because I think he's going to be a good colt. He's going to be peaking right at the time we take him to Corbin. Gymboree, Scotty told me he said, she was a little ornery when she went on the track, which she usually hasn't been. And then, honestly, Anthony said the track was sticky, and she just felt like I could feel her, withering away. And I said, well, I'm glad you didn't move her. He said, no, if I would have moved her, she would have been a very poor 4th instead of a pretty decent fourth. He said she raced good. Given the circumstances, I wasn't disappointed with her. Then, of course, we hit Chicago Hall. We talked about him. Now, I'm fancy-like. Completely ruined a completely horrible day with her win. Great job by Megan and by Mark. I thought she looked a little flat. Looks like they got heavier hobbles on her now. And maybe tighten them up a bit, which is fine. If she needs them tightened up, fine. Megan said she thought she had some mucus in her nose coming back to the paddock after, which probably fits the bill. I suspect they'll claim her next time out. They didn't the other night. That's a 3-year-old filly. She's got allowance, so it saves us a little bit. But, fresh set of legs in a place like Yonkers, I can't imagine she lasts past next week. But we got one in last night, so that's good. Great job by everybody. Now I'm going to the barn right now. I'm going to go with the babies. I'm going to go with Aunt Lily this afternoon and Tim's horse. I know Tim is just crushed. I don't even want to go drive the fillies. I know how... You ever know, you just wake up and you feel bad. You can't figure out why. And then you run into a friend of yours and they tell you this horrible story and how they're just heartbroken. That's how I felt the last 2 days. I felt bad enough for myself, but I feel the weight and despair almost of our clients. I just don't think it's our clients also. I think it's probably Tim. He was completely and utterly devastated scratching the horse yesterday. He raced his colt in the jug. He had a shot. I think he won an elimination, maybe. There were some killers in there that year. That's the year I got parked the whole way, I think. And, you'd buy the missile. And although we had although we had Legendary Hanover and Nijinsky in there, from the rail, the way this horse has been racing, aside from that very rare break last week, who knows? Luck out, win the elimination, draw the rail, assert yourself, cause some mayhem. Who knows how the final works out? But as I said, we're going to turn that page. We're going to try and focus on the positive thing. Positive is he's a Lasix horse that doesn't have to race 2 heats in the searing heat of Delaware on a half-mile track. So maybe that will pay dividends down the road in the Breeders' Crown. Who knows? I'm going to drive down there today. Got those 2 horses. Time's sister is racing from the 7 hole. And then we have Aunt Lily racing from the 6 or 7 hole. So those are very, very tough situations to be in, both of them. But we'll get what we can. And then we have Arrowhead. Rose Run AJ. Tactical Mounds is racing there on Thursday. So you can see that page starting to turn. And I can assure you, as soon as the jug is over, as soon as it's in our rearview mirror, and as soon as Saturday comes, it will be a dawn of a new day, so to speak, for us. Now, one other little item. I appreciate everybody. You guys took it seriously. There's only 8 shares left of Chevron's Bypass. A nice filly, a nice mare. I think she's going to fit. Well, I just don't see how she doesn't fit in. Because for what we paid for, she only has to be, a 15 claimer? How can't she be that? She was just second beat of nose in 49-4. 3 starts ago in Lexington. You can say, well, Lexington's fast. Of course it's fast. But there has to be some equation that makes you comfortable with Northfield. What's 49-4 in Lexington? 56, 55 at Northfield? At the very worst? That's still a solid open backup class pacer mare right now. Well, I guess not open 55, of course not. But in the middle of the order, and if they don't write a class for it at Northfield that she can win, and they don't write one at the Meadows, they'll send her to Ontario, racing the 20 claimer there, where she goes for what? 30,000. We paid 21 for her. No, she'd go for 25, which is still close enough. I just don't see an L in her column overall. And then we got the 2 yearlings left. I'm not that worried. I'm a little surprised. My pick, the guy that I stretched out for that I liked was He's a peerless. He's a. What the hell is his name? Peter Leader. No. Fearless Peter. He's a Fearless Peter. With one S. It's a gorgeous colt. He's not at the barn yet. You can't see him, but the other guy is. Had to know. He is gorgeous. And I'll bring you guys. I don't know if you saw all the videos. Amy took a short video of everybody yesterday. If they're not posted, we'll post them today. And I'll get another video of that colt for you. You'll see what I'm talking about, how gorgeous he is. Anyway, that's what has gone on. It's been very difficult to turn the page. But I'm getting there. I'm getting there. All the notes definitely help. Thank you all for that. And the emails and the phone calls. Listen, I'm a big boy. I know how the industry works, and you know, yes, it's a really tough thing to go through, but not the end of the world. We'll get through it. And as I said yesterday, it's not the last Little Brown Jug, and it certainly won't be the last one that we're in. So chin up. We'll get through this, and hopefully we can get things back on track starting today. Gonna need a little bit of luck. We get 2 of Burke's killers in with Aunt Lily. She drew the outside, but she's been good all year, and she does get around a half good, so we'll see how she races today. And then we have Arrowhead and Rose Run AJ racing tomorrow in stake races, as we do Tactical Mounds. So with that, how much does she go for, Tactical Mounds? 90,000. Final and Miss Versatility. So with that, I'll let you go. I hope you guys, I always say I hope you guys are having a good day. You can't. If you're stable members, it's been a frustrating, let your own fancy, I suppose. It's been a frustrating couple of days, but we are well on our way to turning the page.